next up we have Just Pearly Things on a 8-minute long Twitter video. This lady. I swear to God. It says, have you guys noticed this trend in actresses getting uglier? Question mark? No, I haven't. Pray tell. What hath you bequeathed unto me, madam?
But I've noticed this trend of average women getting exceptional outcomes, not only in the media, and partially, I do think this is hoflation, because again, 100 years ago, pretty much all the guys got a virgin. So by 2023, if you're not a virgin, you would have been a hoe 100 years ago.
Sorry, I'm gonna pause you real quick. Hoflation? What the fuck kind of term is that? How could you say that with a serious face? Are you for real? On the other hand, the over-romanticizing of history and of being a woman and what it was like to be a woman in history and what it was like to man to be in history is something that you should maybe leave to novelists and to people who study history, of which you are neither. So I would leave that, maybe leave that to the professionals. Secondhand, also, maybe if you want to complain that people are successful and that success isn't coming solely based from their appearance, why is that something to bitch about? And maybe, are you including yourself? Because if you were going to say that you're seeing average-ish looking women, in your opinion, are getting more successful more often than only attractive women, in your opinion, are you including yourself in the women who should not be finding success? Like, where are you on this scale that you're drawing? Because, as far as I know, Just Pearly Things is relatively successful. At least definitely more successful than I am thus far. But who wore it better? Does that mean, like, I ought to have her audience because I think I'm more attractive than she is? Because that's a personal preference. Ever since I got my haircut, I'm looking fly. All I'm saying is that if you're going to make that kind of comparison, or you're going to make that kind of, like, judgment on people, you need to make sure that you're including, like, where you believe yourself ought to fall in this. So if you're saying that people who don't reach this level of attractiveness shouldn't be successful, and you are successful and you don't reach that level of attractiveness, you need to address that. Or you need to justify why you deserve to be in the space that you are, or that you think you're more or less attractive, and then justify that. So, unless you're going to do those things, who cares? This is a half-formed thought at best.
I don't make the rules, right? I know that's not the same definition in modern times, but if we're going to go from a historical point of view, it is very unusual to be in a time period where the women are not virgins. Again,
no, it's not.
I do think that men have to...
No, it's not. It's not unusual. People have been having sex a lot of times, and there were people that existed a long time ago before marriage was instituted and before, like, people really gave that much of a shit about virginity. Most of what you find now is a relatively newish concept in terms of, like, human history, and then you're just applying your sensibilities backwards. Stop projecting. Stop projecting your sensibilities onto history. It's not applicable.
Work 10 times harder for a chick that's a lot more average than their grandfathers and their
10 multiplied by 0 is still 0.
Grandfathers would have gotten. So, and I see this trend continue in Hollywood where average chicks are getting exceptional outcomes. And, I noticed this because I was thinking that I haven't seen a Megan Fox level of hot chick in forever. And I was thinking of how, women with acting careers used to kind of stop at like 30, maybe 35 they would make it to. But I've noticed that, like, women like Sandra Bullock, Jennifer Aniston are still getting booked for really, really big roles.
Angelina Jolie. And you're saying this like it's a problem. Like, women shouldn't have careers in the movie. What about Meryl Streep? Like, what do you mean? Are you just saying these... She can tell that other women are hot, sus. That's the thing, right? By what standard? What is your measurement? Because, I mean, I do notice that, like, these kinds of, like, talking heads like to make these bold general statements about the attractiveness of people as if it's, like, obvious. It's not obvious. Different people have different things that they like, so it's not obvious. So, tell Elmo.
You know, recently we had a Barbie movie, and all of Twitter was set ablaze because everyone was arguing if Margot Robbie was hot or if she was mid. And
no, it wasn't everybody was arguing. There were a handful of very angry men who are angry men and get paid to be angry men, stirring up audiences. So those audiences who pay them, who they work to entertain, were arguing about the attractiveness of a woman playing Barbie just because they were mad. And then people thought they were full of shit because they were full of shit. That's probably a little bit more of an accurate representation than what you're presenting. As if there was a real discussion or argument going on. It was like a shitfest. It was a shitfest shitpost thing.
You know, I gotta be honest, Margot Robbie was definitely a Barbie level of hot at 22, but at 32, you know, I think you could go to any college campus and find chicks better looking. I think I've had chicks better looking on the show. You know, I don't think it's that uncommon. But
not
it's
you.
Interesting because it used to be that in Hollywood, to be an A-list celebrity, you had to be a certain level of good looking. And I've just seen this trend, you know, really change. So I want to first show you guys.
And why is that bad? Like, you're presenting this as if that's a bad thing, if that shouldn't be the case. You're gonna have to actually tell people why that's bad or wrong or a problem.
As the hot celebrities of, you know, like 10, 15 years ago. So here we got Megan Fox, right? Beautiful. I know she's like crazy now, but I'm sorry, this chick is stunning. Okay, the next one. Now we have Mila Jovovich. Again, stunning. Right.
What are you bringing up? You want something a little bit more spicy. I see what she wants. She wants something more spicy. She's like, where's my hot pinup pictures of Margot Robbie? There's not enough hot pinup pictures of Margot Robbie.
I don't think anyone would really discount that that's at least an 8 or higher, okay? Halle Berry.
How do you know? How do you know that that's an 8 or higher? Please give me your scale, woman. I need to know what are you using here?
You know, I'm not a fan of the short hair. I really don't believe women should have short hair. But she can pull it off. Why? She's an 8 or higher. And the way I do it.
Do you think that women shouldn't have short hair because you don't think they can pull it off? And if they can pull it off, it's acceptable? What the fuck was that? Oh no.
A similar scale to Kevin Samuels where, you know, 4 to 6 is like average, normal looking. 7s don't really exist. We don't really rate people 7s. 8s or higher is like Hollywood, you know, traditional modeling contracts, not what they have today.
What the fuck? Are you talking about traditional modeling contracts from like the 80s and 90s? The heroin chic time period? Because modeling contracts and models' expectations have changed vastly over the years. What people find generally attractive changes depending on where you live and when you're living there. So, like, the sentiments of the time and the people that are there. So, like, for somebody who was bringing up history earlier, you would think that you would know that people in the 50s did not have the same look as people in the 80s that don't have the same look as people in 2023.
Now we got Sierra. You know, this is one of the #1 women that I get on the show, and it's interesting. They're
all hot, dark-haired women. Would you like Margot Robbie better if her hair was dark and she played stereotypical Fry characters? A Fry characters being a forced romantic interest.
Men celebrity crushes. I just noticed a trend of guys only naming celebrity crushes from 10, 15, 20.
There's a lot of weird AI Margot Robbie stuff on just a regular Google search, so shut the fuck up.
Years ago. And I would never hear guys mention any
Who are you talking to? Who are you
today.
asking?
Not really. Okay, so now we
Who are you
have
asking?
the celebrities of today. And I would rate most of these chicks adjustable sixes.
Chicks.
I would say they're
Adjustable
all above average, they're all
sixes.
cute. None of them are these stunningly beautiful women we had of 10, 20 years ago. They're not Jennifer Aniston. They're not Angelina Jolie. Now we have Jenna Ortega. Again, like, cute, right? But is she Megan Fox level? I would say no. Okay, I'm not a guy, so I want all the guys to let me know in the comments. Jenna Ortega, I would maybe put her 7.
Jesus Christ.
Now we have our favorite actress. She looks exactly like the last chick to me. They look literally exactly the same. We have the Snow.
I don't think it's a good idea to start saying that Hollywood enforcing a stereotype of what a woman's supposed to look like, and then saying that that's a good thing, and then immediately turning around and complaining that these women look similar to you, dumbass.
A white star, very, humble chick right there. But again, these are like 18, 19, 20-year-olds being told they're like the next hottest thing when really they're just kind of average chicks and what seem to be like propped up nowadays. So that's way too regular. Again, I'd give her 6, strong 6. And this is Millie Bobby Brown. And Millie Bobby Brown is like the #1 actress right now. Like out of all these chicks, I know her the most, and she's really good. She's actually so talented. But again,
where's Zendaya on this list? Curious.
6. Yeah, cute.
We're talking about the hottest
Definitely
rising
cute.
actor right now.
None of them ugly, but it's like, I kind of miss watching TV and feeling bad about myself. And I feel like Hollywood has taken this away from me. I used to open a magazine.
You already do. You watch this and feel bad about yourself. You're just feeling this way in a direction that you feel justified in, like, just being salty.
Magazine, and I would see women, Megan Fox, Angelina Jolie, and I would just leave feeling a little bad. I'm like, damn, I'll never look like that. But, you still appreciate the beauty. It's like, so, I would go to a bath.
Then why are you being such a salty bitch that these other people are successful in spite of whatever you think is attractive? Can we talk about the age difference here that you're talking about as well? Like how old the people that you're looking at are versus how old the people you're talking about were, and how old you were when you were like looking up to these people? That you think that maybe your jaded ass jealous perspective on top of your age at the time about whether or not these would have been people that you would have, you don't have that looking up towards someone perspective anymore, that wouldn't change the way you might view these people?
Basketball game or a volleyball game, and I would feel a little bad, and I really feel like Hollywood has taken away the hierarchy of beauty. We used to reward the most beautiful people, and that was the standard to be in Hollywood. But for whatever reason...
Where does Jamie Lee Curtis fall on your list? I want to know where Jamie Lee Curtis falls. If you want to talk about actresses that have been successful despite their age, where does Jamie Lee Curtis fall with her short hair? Listen, I think that Hollywood has its issues, and certainly has issues for men and women, and has issues for attractive people versus not traditionally attractive people, and that has been changing. And what's happening here is, yes, that has been changing, and that's making just pearly things uncomfortable. Why? Is it because you might be able to succeed and no you wouldn't? Because you don't have that Hollywood pizzazz? Or is it... Why? But why do you care? Oh, you're not even watching TV. You just said I miss TV when it made me feel bad. Nobody's stopping you from buying Playboy. You can look at beautiful women to your standard all day and all night if you want to. I'm not going to tell you not to. Also, by the way, nothing's stopping you from watching older film and television if that's your preferred method of consuming media. Just watch older shit. Are you trying to pretend that, like, all of the women that did work in the between the 50s and 70s didn't have different body types and different, like, exceptions and expectations and, like, different vibes? One of the things that matters if you decide you want to be a model is that you look unique. Because being unique is what's going to give that pop. If you're gonna bitch about women who do not meet your level of attractiveness being successful, you ought to be turning off your channel.
I really just think Hollywood doesn't want to appeal to the male gaze anymore. They want to appeal to the female gaze. And
why not both?
Therefore, they're going to do less attractive women, you know, so...
For somebody who would just spend a bunch of time ogling women, I feel like maybe women are totally fine with ogling other women.
Us chicks don't feel bad, but I say no. No, we are supposed to see the best of the best. It's like when you go to the Olympics, you don't go there to see average people play sports. When we go to Hollywood, when we open a magazine, when I see a model...
Where's all my women fep material? God damn it, they just keep bringing on these chicks that I don't think are attractive. I want new and fresh fat material of hot ladies, god damn it.
I want to be inspired. I want to be able to pull off
that's what you described. Inspiration.
And, like, put it on my fridge so I eat less. I really just think that the people in...
Just use an older picture if you're concerned about your dietary needs, lady. What the fuck? Why is it Hollywood's job to cater to your eating habits? Anytime I talk about the way somebody looks, what I'm talking about is the way they choose to present themselves on camera. But there's a reason why Just Pearly Things chooses to portray and look a specific way on camera. There's a reason why she chooses to wear what she wears. There's a reason why she holds her hair the way she chooses to present herself in holding her hair. Can somebody please just get this lady on, like, that one of those makeover shows where, like, two gay guys show up and redo her office and they spend a week with her and she gets, like, a couple of facials and gets, like, here's some clothes. Maybe she would feel better about herself, so much so that she doesn't feel like she needs to pander to loser men who feel threatened by attractive women who don't care what they think. Calm down. Grow up. What are you, 12?
Charge, you know, they want us stupid. That way we are easy to control. And when women are by ourselves, which we really are, in this economy, like, we really are more and more, now that we have more single women than ever, more divorced women than ever.
That's not true. That's actually not true. The divorce rate has gone down and not up. There's citations, please, because none of those things are actually true.
As a whole, we have more power than ever, you know.
Yes, imagine the power of having your own bank account and being able to buy and drive your own car. Oh no.
They can just run a couple ads and convince us that average chicks can date these crazy above average guys.
Why are you bringing up... Wait, time out. Why are you bringing up dating? What does dating have to do with this? You're talking about women who were successful in media and what brought people into, like, seats in a movie, because you didn't actually talk about any of the numbers. You just said that these women are successful in Hollywood, but they're not as attractive as you think some women previous were. But you didn't actually bring in any numbers. You didn't say, hey, Megan Fox brought in so much extra money because of her appearance in Transformers, and then justify that correlation. You just made a blanket statement. Sometimes people go to movies because they enjoy the actor, whether they're attractive or not, because they like the work that they do and they enjoy their movies. So not only did you make these broad statements about these actresses, and then not actually provide any citation or information that would actually demonstrate your point, like Megan Fox would make this much money based on this, and this person is just as successful or not as successful, or there's been a switch. You haven't presented any of that shit. You just were like, that woman's hot, that woman's not so hot, that one's definitely hot, I like that one, I'll flap to that later, not gonna look at that. That doesn't actually provide any information. On top of that, you're also just kind of making these generalized... You're setting general expectations without actually giving us anything of any kind of, like, girth, I guess there's nothing, this is like, I feel like I'm eating I feel like I'm eating cheesy poofs, because they're all air, but I'm not getting, like, the good, satisfying cheese flavor.
I noticed too, in a lot of, like, the romance movies nowadays, like, you know, women, we loved 50 Shades of Grey. And what is that? It's an average 6 of a chick, cute chick, dating a guy that's like a multi-billionaire, and they go off and they live.
Lady, that is not new in romance novels, nor romance stories. Average girl getting hot CEO is a trope. A long-standing trope. Incredibly long-standing trope.
Live happily ever after. Like, at least before, with Snow White and, like, you know, Cinderella, you knew you couldn't have...
Cinderella was average, that was the point! She got a makeover and then got to go. Like, that's not the fucking whoosh! Belle was also, like, beautiful, but not above. She lived in an average town, did average shit. Her beauty came from who she was, not how she looked. That's the whole point of the movie.
Those outcomes unless you were really, really hot. Okay, that was like the standard. Like, okay, ladies, you could maybe ride off into the sunset with a prince if you're really hot. But now social media has us all convinced that we're just 8s, 9s, and 10s. And you see...
You want to know one of the other tropes that tends to come along with, like, the big CEO trope? So, hand in hand, these tropes tend to go together in a lot of romance. Why do I know this? I read schlocky romance sometimes. By sometimes, I mean, like, a lot of my time that I'm just trying to turn my brain off, I'm reading schlocky romance. One of the tropes that, comes up a lot with the, like, the big CEO hot rich guy tends to be the uniqueness or oddness or the lack of giving a shit about who this guy is. So it's like, oh, I've never had someone talk to me like that before, or oh, I've always had people kissing my ass and you don't do that. It's the personality of the woman that attracts them, whether they're beautiful or not. The general trope that goes along with it is when given money and resources, that woman becomes more attractive because she now has access to fancier clothes, nicer makeup, people that help take care of her, yada, 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 yada. So then she just naturally becomes more attractive, on top of, like, the natural beauty that people talk about comes with just being in love and, like, caring and not being a piece of shit. Because a lot of times what's considered unattractive is being kind of a judgmental asshole and being a dick to people for no fucking reason because you're a jealous bitch. And you're mad you're not going to be able to fuck them.
The girls in the media, you know, that are convinced they're 8s, 9s, and 10s, and you convince average chicks that we can just have these crazy outcomes. And it's so funny because I just think in the old generation, you would see, like, TMZ.
What makes you think that? I just think in this, or I see this, or my experience is. Have you ever stepped outside of your own experience? Have you ever actually looked at, like, the facts of the matter? Or do things only happen if you've experienced them? Because I'm pretty sure that's a logical fallacy, and I'm gonna let chat let me know which fallacy they think I'm referring to.
And you would see all of these celebrities, but you knew it wasn't real life. But because us chicks, you know, have access to these guys we would never in a million years have access to.
Why do you have, like, hot women and then us chicks? Why are you so self-deprecating? Like, is there a reason why all of the language that you've used thus far is, like, separating yourself and, like, trying to say that whoever's watching it, I am average and therefore us average chicks, and then said that these other hot women were average and so they're on the same level as you, so you're bringing them down but also trying to elevate yourself at the same time? Like, but like, your language is saying a lot, I think, is what I'm getting at. This is a therapy session now. Pearl, why? Like, what is your reason for hating yourself? Like, why do you hate yourself? What has happened in your life, or what views do you have that you think that you deserve to be hated? Like, why do you think this? And secondly, why are you projecting that onto other women as if it's our fucking problem? Listen, it is no one's job to cater to you, and I feel like that's something that you would agree with. You would agree that it's not men's job to cater to you, and you'd probably agree that it's not anyone's job to cater to you in particular, as much as you make these demands. But I think, like, in a realistic conversation, you would be like, no, it's not anybody's job to cater to anybody. Sure, okay, great. So why are you projecting your hatred and issues onto other women and expecting them to cater to your issues? Women should have short hair. Women should do this. Women should do that. Women aren't hot enough nowadays. Which is a stupid as fuck statement, but whatever. Women are successful, and I don't think they should be. Because I don't personally find them attractive. They don't make me feel bad. What?
It makes us live, like, not, real lives until we hit, like, 35 and, everything crashes down.
Lady, are you okay?
You never know. They could just take away women's right to vote and this whole thing would be done.
Okay, hold on. That was, like, such a non sequitur. Okay, if you take women's right to vote away, right? That would only last so long before you get riots in the streets the same way you got riots the first time. But if you were to start taking people's rights to vote away, you would change the type of movies that are being produced, because art reflects life and life reflects art. So if women are wanting to be more empowered, then you're going to get more movies about women empowerment, because that's what's going to sell. Because that's what people are interested in. That's what society is interested in. Now, whether or not those things are good is neither here nor there, because you're going to have good movies, you're going to have bad movies, and that doesn't justify or remove the viability of a concept, right? But you can say the same thing about, like, the empowerment of any minority. Like, there's a reason why Black Panther did as well as it did. It's because it's something that people care about and are interested in, and told in a way that is consumable, right? That's why the Barbie movie's doing as well as it's doing. And because it was also unique in its storytelling and what it's done and how it's deciding to function and operate, right? Anyway, this lady's crazy. No, apparently we just die at 35. No, women die at 35. So that's when women aren't attractive anymore, is 35. Women don't exist past 35. You're not, your eggs are all shriveled up, you're, like, fugly, you got wrinkles or whatever the fuck. So just for reference, I'm 33. So I got 2 years in me, and then I'm toasted, I'm done, get me out of here, flip me over, put a bag on my head, that's it.